Welcome back to another episode of Health is Wealth. And thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. And as always, I am beyond grateful from the bottom of my heart for each and every single one of you who is tuning into these episodes, who's taking time out of your day to check them out and, really appreciate it. As always, I am just having a great time filming these, as I'm on my own journey. This really helps me a lot too, to learn and relearn things as I'm wanting to get to that next greater version of myself in life. And so this is just a way to also help me along through that journey in hopes of also bringing some value to you, maybe learning something from, for the first time, or seeing something in a different perspective, or, again, just knowing each other a little bit more here. Maybe you get to know me a little bit and the journey that I'm on and where I'm headed to, and perhaps maybe get some motivation, inspiration, or support from that. But nonetheless, again, I am beyond grateful for everyone who's taking time out of the day, and always hope you're finding value from this. And what I wanted to discuss here in this week's episode is something that I've been coming into this new year myself thinking a lot about. And this idea of fix ourselves first, right? Fix yourself first. And what I mean by this, right, is, we can't help anybody around us until we help ourselves first. And I think about this analogy that I hear referenced a bit, when you're on an airplane, and if there's an emergency situation, and there's an oxygen mask that gets released, they say the first thing you have to do is, put the oxygen mask on yourself before helping other people. Because if you don't, you're suffocating, you can't breathe, and you can't get enough oxygen. You're really no good to anybody else. And how I apply this into our life, right, is, in order for us to be better equipped to help those around us, our loved ones, our family, our significant others, whoever, kids, just people in general, we've got to be 100% at our best. And so that starts with, again, us fixing ourselves, fixing, our situation, fixing us in general to be better of service in order to help those around us. Because you might be in a situation, as you look in life where, you see that there can be improvement, maybe there's things that need to be fixed around us, maybe in your relationships in your life, maybe in your financial in life, maybe just feeling lost in life, right? Don't have a path that you feel you're on, whatever it may be. And as we have these things that are tending to happen around us that we notice, need to be fixed and need to be worked on, it's hard for us to do that if we're not 100%, of ourselves to be able to be equipped to do that. And another thing I think about here is, if let's say another analogy would be if you were drowning, right? It's hard to save somebody else who could be drowning if you yourself are drowning, right? And first you have to get yourself into a safety belt, into a safe area to help others. And where I'm really going with all of this is, there are things that we need to work on, I think, within ourselves. And I think about this in my own situation, that, I want a better life for me, my family, my loved ones, I want to get to the next level in life. I want to improve the relationships in my life with people who I care about and just people in general. I want to improve the financial situation and level of financials in our lives, and really just, live a better quality of life, get to the next level. Now, with all of that, I notice within my own world of myself, there are many things that I have to correct and fix before I can start improving on those other things. I've got to work on a lot of my own mentals and physicals and habits and disciplines. That way, I'm better equipped to help improve those areas of other people. Because the thing about it is, if we're ourselves, drowning, quote unquote, right? If we're only operating at 50%, because our habits aren't there, our mindset isn't there, our discipline isn't there, we have our own, fixes within our own body and mind that we have to work on. It's really hard for you to be 100% to others around you, to improve the quality of the life for yourself, your family, and those around you, if you yourself are only at 50%, right? If your physical, fitness isn't there, if your mind isn't there mentally, if you yourself haven't formed the habits, haven't gotten yourself out of your own situation, it can be very hard to fix things around you. And that's what I'm talking about, really, right? Is working on ourselves first. Now, sometimes it could seem as we're coming across as selfish by doing so, because a lot of it comes from us having to pull away from people, maybe, putting time away for ourselves. Sometimes it means pulling away from, activities or hanging out with even family or friends or whatever, because, you want to spend that time working and correcting your own things in life, right? Really focus on things like your fitness. So that way you can build a stronger body and stronger mind. Maybe that's taking away time from everybody else, so you can work on a game plan on how to better your own situation. That way it betters the situation for those around you. So although at times it might seem like it's selfish, I think it's selfless if the approach behind fixing ourselves is so that we can get our own selves at 100% to fix and correct the behaviors, the habits, the lifestyle, the whatever it is that we've got to work on in order to improve the life of others around us. Because until we fix our own life and our own situation within our own mind, it's very hard to be able to fix other things for other people that you care about. Again, maybe you see that there's some improvements that need to be done in and around, your walls of your home or the people you care about the most. And so it's very hard to do any of that if you yourself are not in order. And that is a lot of my thoughts here this year, with a lot of that I am prioritizing. I'm doing a lot of stuff, taking a lot of time to myself to work on my fitness, to work on my mentality, right? To work on a game plan, to work on these things that immediately can help correct the path that I'm physically going on myself, correcting disciplines, correcting behaviors, correcting patterns, correcting habits, right? So that I can get myself to 100%, therefore making me more capable of helping others around me, of helping my family, of helping loved ones, of helping those who I care about get to the next better, step in life, to elevate to the next level. And so that's where my thought this year for myself has been going, is that in order for me to fix things around me, it all starts with myself first. And so think about that for yourself. If you're trying to correct things around yourself in your life, so often are we thinking about trying to fix the actual situation, you're trying to put fires out, maybe, yet you yourself could be theoretically on fire. And I don't think situations around us get better until we do. And it's more about working on ourselves and other things, because I think by default, if we can work on ourselves, if we can better, our mentality, if we can better our habits, if we can better our beliefs, our mindset, all these things, and we can get our own selves to operate at 100%, building a stronger mind, building a stronger body, building a stronger game plan, again, correcting little things that we need to correct. It can only help us improve the things that are around us. But until that happens, none of the other stuff really happens, because trying to help other situations out when we're operating at 50% because our habits aren't there, our discipline isn't there, our fitness isn't there, because that also, again, not just improves our physical, but our mental, our mental toughness isn't there. We don't have a game plan. We're skirting around trying to fix these other things, but none of that stuff is fixed within our own walls and barriers of our own body, mind, and soul. Then again, it's very hard to be able to do that. And that's one of the things that I myself am thinking a lot about this year. So if you're in a situation and you're like, okay, there's things around me that I know I need to correct, first start with your own self. I believe there's a lot to that. I believe you start looking at your own situation like, okay, what things do I need to correct in my direct path, that I have control over, that can only help better the things that are around me. Because I think if we start there and we can get ourselves to 100%, then we are just better equipped to take care of all the things that are around us. And just, by that pure fact, it'll make us more capable of helping out, right? And so think about that this year, fix yourself first. And again, it can sometimes maybe seem like it's selfish because you're spending a lot of time to yourself, working on your fitness, working on building, skill, working on the game plan. What's the future going to look like? Where are we headed to? Working on building the habits, the discipline, there's a lot of work and it's a lot of self-work, right? That's why it's called self-improvement. That has to take place. You can't really work on that with other people. I mean, you can get some support, but a lot of that work is only done by yourself. It's by you putting in the time, and a lot of it's done alone, right? Getting in the gym, writing out your goals, again, fixing little habits and disciplines and maybe vices or mindset fixtures, of yourself, so that only builds you into something bigger and stronger and better, as someone who can then show up as a person they need to be to help fix things in your life. And so, the best way to start fixing everything else is by fixing yourself. And I don't believe it's selfish. I believe it's selfless, knowing that the reason you're doing it is because you want to help the ones that you care about the most. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Health is Wealth Podcast. And as always, we will see you on the next one.